I appreciate everyone so much for the support. What's going on? The truth. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Are you driving?
I am.
Fortunately,
You sitting?
can't be driving on TikTok live.
Oh, no, I'm not personally driving. No. We're driving. I'm passenger.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Do you think that you'd be able to disconnect your phone from Bluetooth?
How do I do that?
If you're on an iPhone, you pull down from the top right-hand corner, you click the Bluetooth icon, it just takes me off of your phone mic and it allows me to hear you through it takes you off of your car mic and allows me to hear you through your phone mic.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, if you can't do it, no worries. We could still hear you all right. I just know that we'd hear you about a billion times better if we were connected to your phone's mic compared to your car's.
Is this better right here?
Oh my God, a billion times better, night and day. You know what, man? Go
Yeah.
ahead and take it away and tell us why you support Trump as president. You got my attention.
Well, I think he brings new views to he's been a big change. Obviously, he's brought you out of, you know, inception into the world of politics, right?
Well,
And
what brought me out,
I think
what brought me into the world of politics, is the fact that I'm able to describe why the Trump administration is so bad and precisely what they're doing that's harmful, and argue against arguments of the opposite pretty well. I don't attribute my research and good memory to Trump. I attribute that to myself
well,
and my own
I
skill
think it's
set.
just, I'm a little older than you. So you're in a new world where young guys like you are very well spoken and very articulate and impressive. Actually, I'm impressed by the youth of today getting so involved. Me, 20 years ago, we didn't do this, so it's interesting. But of course, younger guys like yourself may lack experience. So when it comes to, let's say, black white politics, right? Race politics. I don't know where you're from. Everyone's got a different perception. It's just when you're young, you don't have all the tools that you need, the life experience tools to kind of, but it's cool that you have an opinion. Sometimes I just noticed you've got some checklist points, and sometimes I wonder if you're kind of reading off those points instead of really feeling what you believe in. You know what I mean? I mean,
Well,
let's just start with Biden. But I'm sorry, let me just start with
oh,
Biden. How do you support Biden? That's a better question. This man was 80 years old. He could barely, read off a teleprompter. He's got a horrible history. I mean, he was such a bad candidate. Can you agree with that? Were you a big fan the whole time? How do you get behind all of that?
okay. Well, you're now criticizing Biden for arguing that he was 80 years old and could barely read off a teleprompter. Donald Trump is older than 80, and he can't read point blank, period. So it sounds like, in all reality, if you want to tell us these are the reasons why you don't support Biden as president, that these are also the reasons why you don't support Trump. But if you're asking me why I thought that Biden was an all right president, it's because his domestic policy was some of the best domestic policy that we've seen in modern American history, surrounding his ability to help rebound us from the pits of the pandemic and to surging our rate of inflation lower disproportionately compared to the reduction in the level of inflation onset in any other country in the G7. His ability to do so while also keeping our expenditure low. In Donald Trump's first term, he spent $8.4 trillion, and under Biden, we spent $2.2 trillion in non-COVID related expenditure, 4.6 overall. And I really would like to focus on Trump because, of course, he's the topic of the live. And when we do comparative analysis between the man Biden is and the man Trump is, it becomes clear night and day. Biden has been held to the
Well,
liable
I
since
don't
there.
think most of your
Biden.
audience, but well, let's just say most of your audience doesn't want to go through all the data, right? We're talking more in general terms. What I was saying is, when you compare Biden, and a lot of people do this, I don't know how you guys do it. I mean, okay, they're both 80 years old, but I think that Biden, there's no question that the cognitive, uh, issues are much more, hitting Biden.
Oh, no way.
So I
No
don't even
way.
know how you
No way.
argue.
Okay, let's play
I don't know how
test.
you argue it. It's hard to go. It's hard to go.
We'll do it. We'll play a fun game. We'll determine who's more incoherent. And by the way, welcome back, Nick.
Good. Keep on talking.
Nick, so I want you on the panel. If you want to be here, you could debate with this guy why Trump's a good president. Alternatively, anytime that you think I'm being a real meanie, I want you to interrupt me and just call me out, okay? I want you to humble me, okay, Nick? Anytime I'm being...
Yeah, but you are being
Right now, he's
exacting.
convincing everyone that Biden is more cognitive than Trump. Right, by
Oh my
far,
God!
he's.
I'm surprised it even takes an argument. It should be obvious. So we're gonna play a quick little fun game, sir. So I'm gonna say something that either Trump or Biden has done, and then I want you to tell me if that was done by Trump or Biden. Okay?
Oh gosh. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
This is so fixed, but go ahead.
Okay. Posted an article online saying that the other person was killed in 2022 and replaced with a robotic clone.
National Broadcast Center is loading in a first.
Was this obviously a joke? Are we talking jokes? Are we talking serious stuff? I don't
That's
understand.
That's what
was
Trump did. That's what Trump did. A couple months ago, he reposted an article on his Truth Social feed saying that Biden was killed and died in 2022 and replaced with a robotic clone. Next question.
Do you ever get his jokes?
Next-
Hold on. Do you ever get his jokes though? I mean, do you remember the? Do you remember the
it's just-
Gaza
so
one?
yeah, that's so. One moment. Yeah, obviously, that obviously isn't mental incoherence. Very much so a joke. Very obvious. Very obvious. Excuse me. Next question. Which one of the two literally called for the execution via the means of hanging of their political opponents?
I would love to see that post. See, this is such a manipulative statement. It's so manipulative. But what we do know is that who is saying things like those MAGAs? Who does that? Does Trump say, is there a group of people, or does he say, of course he says Democrats, but it's almost kind of like it's almost like bigotry when you call us MAGAs. You call us maggots and MAGAs. It's so hypocritical,
Oh my God.
isn't it?
Well, Donald Trump called me treasonous. So which one is worse? Being called what you are or being called a traitor to the country? And you said that it was manipulation and that Donald Trump hadn't actually called for the death of his political opponent.
The president
Here's the
of
proof.
the United States of America,
Yippee!
Donald Trump, is now demanding
Proof.
the execution.
I can't skip
More
to the mid part.
specifically,
Wait, actually, yes, I can. Here we go.
you need to know. Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social. He responded to a post published by the Washington Examiner titled, "Democratic veterans in Congress urge service members to refuse unspecified unlawful orders," by saying that this is really bad and dangerous to our country, and that their words cannot be allowed to stand. He then followed that up with a second post that reads, "This is seditious behavior, punishable by death." And then he reposted a comment that reads, quote unquote, "Hang them, George Washington would."
Oh no! Look at Dean, the bad faith manipulator, literally reading what Trump posted.
Hold on now. If we reverse, hold on, rewind real quick. Remember what you said. And this is what the Democratic Party does. Remember, just rewind what he said and then go find the facts in there. No, you don't. You have a manipulation of words. It's manipulative. And that's what happens. And this is bad for our country. We got to stop manipulating.
Can you read this?
Both sides.
Can you
Both
read
sides.
this?
That is not what Donald Trump said. That's what he retweeted. There is a difference. See, you said, if you rewind what you said, you made it factual. We've got to treat it like the court of law.
Can you read this?
Seditious behavior. But rewind what you said. You said he's calling for the hanging. I believe you said he calls for the hanging of his opponents.
Oh yeah,
he did.
Totally.
That would require. Hold on. Let me just finish. That would require him to say, "I am calling for the hanging of my political opponents." And so that's the manipulation here. See, we can do this all day, and this is what I hate about the Democratic.
I'll make it clear.
How do we have unity?
Hey, old man.
Under a manipulation.
Hey, old man. Just give me a second here.
You let the guy speak.
So, well, don't get offended that I called you old man. Earlier, you're calling me super young and inexperienced.
Hurts.
So, anyways.
See, this is another manipulation. I said that I didn't even say anything negative. I just said that it was a compliment. I said, you're young. You guys just lack a little bit of experience. That's all. That's all I said.
That's exactly what I just said that you said. So it's obvious. So obviously you like to call the facts manipulative, but that aside.
Stick to your point. Let's not get off track.
So my point was that Donald Trump called for the execution of Democrats via the means of hanging. Now, the first part of that sentence is what he directly said. Okay, he referred to these Democrats as seditious, and then he followed that up immediately by saying that this is punishable by death. That is Donald Trump calling for the deaths of those Republicans. And then where I'm getting that via the means of hanging from is the fact that he reposted somebody else who responded to that same article he did by saying hang them. Okay, right? In Donald Trump reposting that, not only does it tell us that Donald Trump agrees that they should be hung, but it also is amplifying that message.
Well, Harry,
So
that's
when you
a
amplify
psychological opinion,
when you
though.
amp
It's a psychological
when you
opinion.
amplify that message, you are calling for that message.
Well, that's not necessary.
It
That's
is.
not true at all.
It
And
is.
if
That
we
is him
thought that way, we would
directly
have to.
agreeing and
That's
amplifying with that
hyperbolic.
message.
That's hyperbolic. And if we thought that way, and we took every
Why did he repost
representation
it?
of words,
Tell me why he reposted that.
well, you know, I mean, hey, I would never disagree that he's a
Tell me.
provocative guy.
Tell me why he
Because
reposted
he's
it.
a
Tell me.
because he's a provocative guy.
Wait, what's
Because he
provocative about
wants
him?
you. Because he
reposting it?
wants you to flip. He wants you to trip over it 1,000 times.
Wait,
That's why.
answer my
He wants
question.
you to.
What is provocative
Because
about Donald Trump saying that these Democrats should be sentenced to death and then reposting a comment saying to hang them? Does this mean that Donald Trump agrees that they should be hung?
I think that he is he's got you guys on strings. He's got you chasing rabbit hole after rabbit hole.
Can you
Is it
answer my
not true?
question?
Come on.
Can you answer my question? When Donald Trump says that they're traitors and that they engage in seditious behavior and that this is punishable by death, and then he reposts something else that says to hang them, can I fairly interpret these three messages to mean that Donald Trump thinks that they should be hung?
I think that all people, he is in a narrative, and that he is expressing his narrative through his experiences. He sees and he retweets. We're looking into his behavior as if it's.
Cope, answer my question. It's a yes or no.
Wait, go ahead. Ask the question.
So with
there's
Donald
only one answer
Trump.
for
So
Harry.
with Donald Trump.
There's only one answer for Harry. Go ahead. What's
My name's
the
not
answer?
Harry. My
Go
name's
ahead.
Dean. When Donald Trump says that these Democrats are seditious and sedition is punishable by death, and then repost something saying, hang them, is it reasonable to take away the conclusion that Donald Trump thinks that they should be hung? Yes or no?
Now here, let's go back to your original argument. Okay, hold on. Here, I'll answer your question. Okay, yes, I'll give you your yes. You want your yes? I forgot what your name is. I thought it was Harry.
Shit.
Sorry.
So you
Okay,
think
look,
that you support a president
yes, I'll give
that
you
wants
yes.
to
I'll give you
kill
yes.
his political opponents?
But that was not your original point. Your original point was that he is calling for the hanging. What he did there is he agrees with you. So you want his internal thought. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, in that moment, especially in the moment of anger, like anyone else, and he's completely attacked all the time. Yeah, I don't think that he's. Have you ever been attacked? Yeah, you have. Are you nice to the MAGAs come after you? Are you sweet to them? No, you're vicious. That's your job. Everyone's doing their job, right? That's the bottom line.
So the bottom line is that you're going to go on a press tour defending the president that wants to kill his political opponents.
A press tour? You call that a press tour?
Yeah,
I would say that
you're
bizarre.
acting like Caroline Levitt.
By the way,
right
isn't
now.
this like 3 weeks ago? This
You're
happened.
acting. Oh well, because he called for the execution of his political opponents three weeks ago.
Let's
stop
get to
talking
the
about it
blowing
today.
up the. Oh, let's talk about the blowing up of the
Yeah,
boats.
yeah. Let's just make
Move
sure
to
that we're
No,
not
'cause I know
talking
you have
about him
better
executing
points.
his political
Because
opponents.
I know you have better
Come
points.
on, bro.
Bring us
Listen,
to your
okay,
argument on
here's
the
my
boats.
conclusion.
Talk about
Listen,
the boats.
here's my conclusion on this topic. If Biden called for the execution of Trump, if Biden called for the execution of any Republican, of any of one of his political opponents, we would not stop hearing about it until the end of the days. Okay, and that would be fair, right?
I mean, didn't he say
it's
that we were
reasonable.
an accidental? What are these? I can't even say.
I think that
accidental.
No, so he said that Trump is an existential threat to our democracy.
Exponential threat. That's what he called us.
No, that's
Come
not
on.
what he called you.
What's
That's
the
what he called
difference?
Trump.
No, he said all MAGA. Hold on, go check the tape. He was talking about MAGA Republicans. Those were his exact words. I'll never forget it. Check the tape.
You know what?
I promise you.
Let's actually assume that he
Be
is.
fair. Be fair.
So let's assume that you're right. We're going to assume that Biden called all Trump supporters an existential threat to this country, and you think that's synonymous to calling for their death. Would you argue that any reasonable American would have stopped supporting Biden the moment he said that because he was calling for the execution of his political opponents?
I think that everyone stays right where they're at. There's almost nothing he could say or Trump could say to make any difference.
Any reasonable American should, we'll use the word should any reasonable American have stopped supporting Biden when he called for the execution of his political opponents?
Well, it's there now. What you're doing is you're making everyone have cognitive dissonance, and you're believing the lie that you just got destroyed on.
I didn't ask
I
you.
already told you.
I just answered
he
my
did
question.
not call on the. He did not call on the execution. He retweeted something. That's your
Answer,
evidence,
wait,
right?
I'm not even talking about Trump. We're talking about
You
Biden.
didn't win your case
I'm
yet,
talking
bud.
about Biden.
You didn't win that
just
case.
Listen, I understand that you're scared to answer this question because, beta male or whatever. But just, do your best.
Beta.
If Biden
Don't
called
be.
for the
Don't
execution of his
be.
political
Dude, you're
opponents.
80 pounds, bro. You see, I'm like twice your size, right? Come on.
Well, I'm not
Hold
80
on.
pounds. I'm
What are you, 140?
no, I'm
I'm
155.
170.
20 pounds.
Right. Well, I got 15 pounds on you, so you're not. You're not towering
leaner.
over me.
Well, listen, I'm leaner,
All right.
my friend.
No
Okay,
problem.
I'm
No
lean.
problem.
I'm lean
No-
muscle.
no
True
violence.
alpha.
No violence.
True
No
alpha.
violence. Okay.
I'm lean muscle, kid.
Then all I can say, you
Dude,
need to
we want to
relook your
see you
history.
box. Hold on. Before you talk, I've been hearing you talk tough, man. We got to see you box first. We gotta see the proof in the pudding before we respect your badass.
Dude, see, that's the
Anyways.
thing. You'd respect me if I were to box somebody. Like, you're fucking caveman. You won't respect me when I'm over here spewing the facts. But no, please answer the question. Just, answer the question. If Biden called for the execution of his political opponents, should any reasonable American have stopped supporting him once he did that?
This is a hypothetical question.
It is.
This is not.
Are you
backed by any
are you telling me that your
facts.
brain is too small to engage in hypotheticals? And by the way, from your perspective, it's not a hypothetical because you argued that Biden said something that was synonymous to calling for the execution of his political opponents. So you actually can't even argue that it's a hypothetical question since you said that something that was basically that did happen. So please answer the question. If Biden called for the execution of his political opponents, then do you think any reasonable American should have stopped supporting them?
I think that the left would be like a bunch of Charlie Kirk assassination cheering him on. That's what I think. If you really want my opinion.
But that's not the question that I asked you. Now, is it?
It's
Now
such a hypothetical.
now that's not the question that I asked you. Now, is it?
There's your answer.
Oh, by the way,
There's your answer.
if you're gonna now you're arguing that anybody who would still support Biden as president, knowing that he called for the execution of his political opponents, would be synonymous to Charlie Kirk's assassin. Then you, sir, killed Charlie Kirk since you are still knowingly supporting Donald Trump.
now
in
we're
lieu of the fact that he called for the execution of his political opponents.
I'm willing to move
so, by
to
the
the
way,
second.
the reason why you will not respond to this question is because you know the answer is yes. But you know the moment you give that answer, you know the moment you affirm that any reasonable American would have stopped supporting Biden if he called for the execution of his political opponents, is because you're simultaneously arguing that you should continue to support Trump even though he called for the execution of his political opponents. The necessary implication of you giving an honest answer to the question that I asked would be you self-identifying as an unreasonable individual. Okay, as an idiot, right? As a very uneducated, right? Unserious, crazy, unreasonable idiot. So that is why you are trying to pivot. That is why you want to flip the script and talk about the liberals. That is why you try to make that connection to Charlie Kirk's assassination compared to directly answering the question. That is why you interrupted and you're like, well, dude, we got to talk about the boat attacks. I don't want to talk about this anymore. That's why, you started talking about how much I weigh. I just want a direct answer to the question. Give it up. Okay, you're not fooling anybody. Every single person watching this live knows that you're just being intentionally dense to subvert and avoid the question. That's why since I've begun to ask you this question and you failed to answer, 700 people have left on TikTok, is because people get really fed up, bored, and annoyed when guests try to intentionally subvert and deny an answer to a question. So just fucking give it up. Answer the question. If Biden called for the execution of his political opponents, then do you think that any reasonable American should have stopped supporting him as president? Yes or no? We don't want to hear about your thoughts on liberals or Charlie Kirk's, the size of my biceps, or the boats in the South Caribbean. We just want to hear a direct and succinct, genuine response to the question being asked. Please take it away.
You brought up Kirk. You're the one that started it all, dude.
Hey, Nick. So he can't figure out.
Why are you laughing then? I mean, everything he's saying is true. So why
Preach
you
it,
need
Nick.
to do researching?
Yeah, Nick.
Look at Newsmax.
Newsmax.
Okay.
Okay.
Look at your search.
Yeah.
Redo it.
Yeah.
And get the facts straight, dude.
Appreciate
that,
it.
or you don't even be in politics.
Thanks, brother. The truth, I sent you an invite to turn back on your microphone. If you don't see it in the middle of your phone screen, there you go.
Sorry about that. Who's he talking to? That dude. Is he on my side or your side?
He's on your side.
I'm on your side.
Okay, because I'm like, I got to understand who am I battling. Can we move to the next topic? Can we talk about the boats real quick? And I want to hear I haven't heard your opinion on the
Come
boats.
on. You're literally doing what I said you would do.
What do you mean? That argument's over with. You won, Harry. You won. That's what you wanted, right? You got it. Can we just go to the next topic?
Disconnect your phone from Bluetooth. I'm going to thank a couple people.
Okay.
Brittany,
bad.
thank you for the $25 over on PayPal. I appreciate you so much for the love, Brittany. Brittany with the $25 says, from someone from the older-ish generation, it's so refreshing to hear someone young that's so informed. Keep using those videos to help teach. Oh, thank you so much, Brittany. Let's get 250 Brittany W's. Can both of you say W, Brittany, real quick? Nick? The truth? W, Brittany?
Stealing people's money, bro?
Stealing people's money? No, Brittany decided to donate to me. I didn't make her donate.
Out of their own pockets. That's kind of dumb.
No,
Seriously?
they're taking it out of their own pocket, and then they're donating it to me.
Yeah, but why would they
People can
donate to
donate.
you? Don't you have a job?
This is my
This
job.
is not your
This
job.
is his job. This is his
Oh,
job.
yeah.
I've seen this guy around. I've seen him everywhere. Guy busy.
Yeah. All right, Nick.
Hey man, hey, I don't hate on anyone making money. If this is the way you make money, if they think you're a great debater. I mean, could you imagine Charlie Kirk debating you? I mean, you would just snap on him. You'd have to hold the mic on him.
Well, I did debate
I'm not
him.
saying I'm the best.
I did debate him for
You
3
did?
minutes, and then he told me I gave him the best argument he's ever heard on the subject.
You are decent, but you're repetitive and you just keep going. You should make your points and walk away. You keep your credibility that way.
I'm very repetitive. I'm very repetitive. And
Until you win, until you get someone to
precisely.
submit to you.
Precisely. Until I win. I'm
Just
very repetitive.
make your points and score your
Yes.
points with your people, your cult, and then move to the
My
next
cult?
one. You don't have to.
I don't have a cult.
Yeah.
You're mad.
No, I'm not mad.
I
I'm
don't
just
have a
saying
cult.
it's definitely a cult. Hey, I
No.
admit that there's a cult on both sides. I hate I'm not really on
Dude,
the left or the right.
Dude.
I mean, I lean
get,
towards the
dude,
right.
listen, my own fans cancel me like once every 4 months, okay? All right, we're not a cult over here.
That's cool. I want to
We're not
see
a
you
cult.
break from. Okay, I've never heard you break from any narrative ever and say, you know what? I'm going to call out the Charlie Kirk. I never heard you say that. Why didn't you get famous for that? Why didn't you? Hey guys, this is wrong. I don't feel good about it. How do you feel about that Charlie Kirk situation? I mean, is it wrong for people to cheer on the death of this man? Well, what is your opinion on that?
Actually, quite frankly,
Did you do that? Go ahead. You're getting too crazy about it. I don't watch you every day. Did you do it? Go ahead.
Quite frankly,
You did it. Okay.
I did it.
That's great. I just wish
Quite
they
frankly.
then. You know what? Then I'm going to point another point. Why didn't they make you the fucking most famous Democrat on the planet at that point? Because literally they highlighted nobody to say, hey guys, the fuck are we doing? And you would have been front page news. I want to see the real call out. Now go play the tape right now. Do the call out. It should say something like,
wait.
What the fuck are we doing, dude? What are you guys doing?
So what's the issue on the left? Just be succinct.
What do you mean? What's
issue?
the issue? Are you going to ignore the fact that millions of people have been talking shit about this assassination and like it should have happened and he deserved it? And
yeah.
I mean,
well, so I'm
no argument. Okay.
So I'm a pacifist. I disagree with the death penalty. I definitely don't think that Charlie Kirk should have been assassinated. Especially in consideration.
No, that's not. I didn't ask you if you thought morally if he deserved it. I said, do you agree with your cult? And you know it's a cult, and that should be a real identifier.
So
when a bunch of people go fucking
argue
nuts.
So I'd argue that
They
there's
went nuts.
maybe some people in here that think he should have been assassinated. But
stop.
ultimately, I'd argue
stop.
that that's a rather fringe and
All right, now
small.
you want to
Listen,
bring them in? I'll say
listen,
then your whole.
1 second. That's a rather fringe and small demographic. For the most part, right? The most predominant viewpoint from the left, right, is just that death didn't make Charlie Kirk from going from a bad person to a good person. That the death of Charlie Kirk doesn't call for the, I honestly, I almost want to, I don't know what word I'm looking here, but for the veneration. There we go. For the veneration of Charlie Kirk. The assassination of Charlie Kirk doesn't mean that he didn't say that he'd be scared to fly in a plane if it had a black pilot. Doesn't mean that he didn't call for a true American patriot to go bail out the guy that tried to kill Nancy Pelosi's husband. so on and so forth, right? Like that's like the most predominant belief. Is just that like, it's bad that he was assassinated, but his assassination doesn't mean that therefore he should be venerated. Right? And like honestly, I'm kind of at a point where I'm kind of like sick and tired of hearing about him. It's like, come on. It's been months. It's been fucking months, brother. Okay? Because every moment, every breath, every word that we waste on talking about Charlie Kirk is a moment that we instead could have spoken about the 10 million low-income Americans that are now without health care because of Trump. The 45 million Americans that are now going to be paying upwards of 300% more for their health care premiums because of Trump. The 3-year-old children that are having to represent themselves in an immigration court facing removal for undocumented entry by the Trump administration was a moment that we could have spent talking about the college students that are being black bagged and illegally taken to ICE detention centers 1,000 miles away, about the Epstein files, about the fact that he's a rapist, about the fact that he sexually exploited women and girls, right? Like, I think that although I've continued to repeat that Charlie Kirk's assassination was bad, I don't think he deserved to die, right? That doesn't mean that we have to continue talking about that forever, because what we should be talking about right now is ensuring that other people don't die as well, right? Like if you truly care about Charlie Kirk dying, let's also collectively care about the 40 through 60,000 Americans that die per year via lack of access to healthcare, and how that number is only going to be exacerbated by the Trump administration because they're either taking it away or making it even more expensive for millions. Fucking. Let's also collectively care and how we're making and I've not heard you mention Melissa Wortman once. And although I just met you 30 minutes ago, I would be willing to hedge bet that if we had Jesus standing in front of us that was willing to answer whatever question that we asked perfectly and genuinely, that Jesus would tell me you've never mentioned Melissa Hortman a day in your life. Same thing with the victims, the 2 children that died at Evergreen High School hours after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. They were too. We don't talk about them.
I think I was having some mic problems there, but
Yeah.
I would let you go on and on about Trump. I mean, we were talking about Charlie Kirk, but that's cool. We don't got to talk. We'll go back to Trump, because everything circles back to Trump, right?
So why do you support him? Why do you think he's a good president?
Well, I don't like bullies. So that's a natural thing that he's been bullied. So I'm naturally, no matter, even if it's if let's say a rapist, which I hate. Hold on. Let's say a rapist was getting rocked on the street. Honestly, it's like one of those things where, like, let's say even the worst person, I'm always naturally going to try to defend someone. And I feel like, well, look, you guys have never brought a real case. You've tried and tried and tried everything. And we just had a debate. Even that's like your big debate with me, and you thought you won it. But the truth was, you proved to yourself that it was all a narrative, and there was no factual sense to it.
Wait.
Did you just like
willingly admit that you like to defend rapists?
No, I made a totally different point. I said that if you see someone
if
rocked on the street, you would say, "Guys, let's not lose ourselves."
If I knew that they were rapists, I'd look the other way and keep walking.
I guess that's a pretty extreme example, but I'm just saying that can you picture someone being rocked in the street and you're trying to say, hold on, no matter what this person did, let's not all ruin ourselves. I don't know. That may be a Christian value I have. It's kind of how this country was built. And it goes along with our constitution and our laws.
Did you know that Donald Trump is a rapist? Did you know that Donald Trump is a rapist?
Hold on, let me finish this. Since America is so dear to your heart.
Where's the accountability for that? Where's the same care for his victim?
Hold on.
Why do you care more about the rapist than the woman that was raped?
Hold on. What makes us better people? Like you hate Donald Trump. We get that. Okay. But don't lose yourself. That's what I'm pointing. That's Trump. You end up losing yourself. You don't stand on any, high ground when you're walking past somebody rocked on the street, no matter what they did. So I think that what you do is you go too far with it. is what
Okay.
I'm saying.
So
And then
here,
you lose
can I tell you what I'm
lose your
hearing?
own values. You lose your own values.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm hearing. You're basically saying, oh, that because people say that Donald Trump looks like an orange or has a fake toupee on top of his head, I'm gonna support him as president, even though he
No.
raped
I
Eugene
said I
Carroll and
was
boasted
starting. I
about
was just
sexually exploited women
you
and
went
girls.
down the rabbit hole.
Okay,
I
thank
was
you for
just
interrupting me.
explaining
Can I please
myself.
speak
I
without you
said,
interrupting me? Can I please speak without you
well,
interrupting
you're
me?
going. Go ahead. Go ahead. I listen.
Where is
on,
the
bro.
same energy for the victims? Where's the same energy for Eugene Carroll, the woman that he raped? Where's the same energy for
Oh
the beauty pageant
God,
contestants in Miss
that woman,
USA? Oh yeah, the victim
the
of grape.
fantasy woman. Did you hear what she said?
Oh, what did
Did
she
you hear
say?
what she said?
Yeah,
Hold
what'd
on.
she say?
Did you hear what she said?
What'd she say?
She said, "I think women fantasize about being raped." Okay, that to me is self-incriminating. You're a woman that has accused a man of rape, and you think that other women fantasize about being raped? That's a strange comment. It's a very strange comment. That's a strange lady, and you really got to have better judgment. And this is where it comes to like you're very young, so it's about experience and picking these people up. You should never mention her name, and that was a total joke of a case. Just so you know, there
Okay.
was no proof. It was a hearsay case. It was always a hearsay
Yeah.
case, and there was no proof on it. I don't believe it anyway. I think one thing that
Mm.
you all are silly with
Yeah,
is
this
that
guy's just lost the
Trump.
fucking plot.
Hold on. Now Trump has
He's
always
lost
been
his
around
mind.
a lot of women. Hold
He's
on,
lost
he's
his
been
mind.
around a lot of women. Let's agree. He has choices of women. Why does everyone think that he needs to rape women? I don't.
You're literally getting so red in the face with this like fucking idiotic misogynistic spiel that you accidentally left the TikTok app.
Oh, shit, my bad. You there?
Yeah. Make
That
your
was a
point.
horrible spiel.
Make your point.
Yeah,
Are you
I
done?
guess.
Are you
Well, I
done?
don't know. I don't know where I left off because
Oh,
I
well,
was on a
so
horrible.
yeah, don't worry. I heard you. You just said that Eugene Carroll's crazy, and there's no
Yeah.
merit to that case, and Donald Trump could get whoever he wants. So first and foremost, Eugene Carroll did go on live TV, and she said that other people fantasize about grape. In context to reference of a conversation where she was saying that it's not romantic, it's not something that should be fantasized because it is violent. Okay, right? She specifically said that other people can think that grape is sexy. And that it's not sexy, it's not romantic, it is fucking violent. And honestly, I think that you're a sick piece of shit because the first place that your
Calm
mind
down, dude.
well, I'm sorry, the sky's blue,
Calm down,
it's
bro.
cold in Colorado, and you're a sick POS for coming on my live. And when I bring up the fact that Donald Trump raped this woman, the first place that your
You
mind
don't
goes
know
is to,
that, dude.
how
You
can
are
we
not-
demonize the victim?
dude, you
Let me
don't know
speak
that at
without you
all.
interrupting me. Why are you acting like a kid, dude? Just let me finish speaking. And the first place that your mind goes, right, is, well, instead of how are we going to hold the rapist accountable? How are we going to condemn Donald Trump? How are we going to get him out of office because he did something that would get you rejected as a fry cook at McDonald's, and now he's the most powerful man alive because he's serving as the president of the United States and he's a fucking rapist. But rather, the first place your mind goes is, well, how can we villainize the victim? How could we sit here and shit on the woman who was raped? You think
This
it was
is my- I
worse
wanna make a
for
point,
Eugene
dude.
Carroll to say that some people
You
think
are the
rape is
most
sexy, it's not sexy, it's
anti-American
violent.
person I
Oh,
ever met.
yeah,
You are
yeah.
someone that
So
doesn't
anti-American.
believe in the justice system. He was not convicted of rape. No, he was not. You are a liar. He was not convicted of rape. And you, my friend, are slandering his name for a living. So you should really check yourself. You should also calm down with your rhetoric, man. You need to look at us as Americans. We're not, we're all Americans. I could sit here and bust you out all day and talk shit to you, but I don't want to do that. I'm trying to have a real debate with you. Why don't you calm down with the rhetoric?
Let me tell you
Seriously.
something about
Seriously.
let me tell you about anti-American Americans. I'm talking to one right now. Earlier, you recognized that Donald Trump called for the
gosh.
death of his political opponents, his constituents, and you're still defending him as president. There about
Seriously.
let you recognize, and I'll get there. A core American value, right, that I hold true, near and dear, and we've already gone over this when I was talking about how I'm a pacifist, right, is that if we are going to have a leader of this country, if we're going to have a representative of the American constituents, then that representative has to tend to the needs of the constituents. That representative must do what is in the best interests of the constituents. This representative is not somebody who should be able to speak from the Oval Office, posting on his own Truth social media platform, that instead of wanting to do what is
This
in the
is
best
such
interests,
rhetoric. I mean, you are.
and now
you
you're
are.
on mute. Instead of wanting to do what is in the best interests of his constituents, wants his constituents dead. You're going to sit here and call me anti-American for calling out a traitor, the most anti-American president that we've ever had serving in our Oval Office, same guy that Cooter government tried to rig the outcome of the 2020 election, is calling for the deaths of his constituents, has infringed on 4 core tenets, amendments of the American Constitution last 10 months, including but not limited to the 1st, the 2nd, the 10th, the 14th, and the 22nd, and you're going to call me anti-American for calling that out. Why don't you call Trump anti-American for defending and giving full and complete presidential pardons to the 173 Trump supporters that invaded our Capitol on January 6th, and in the process smeared their shit on the walls inside and tried to kill cops on the steps of the Capitol, such as DJ Rodriguez when he drove a stun gun into the neck of Officer Fanone. Oh wait, the reason that you don't critique that is because you defend it. You defend the president patriots. And I'm the anti-American one. Why don't you criticize Why don't you criticize Donald Trump for signing Executive Order number 14160 into law when he attempted to infringe on the 14th Amendment and taking birthright citizenship away from the children born to undocumented immigrants on American soil when they've had that right guaranteed to them since the ratification of the 14th in 1868. Oh, wait, the reason why you don't criticize Donald Trump infringing on the Constitution belligerently and intentionally is because you defend that constitutional infringement. I just want to laugh in your goddamn face for having the confidence to tell me that I'm the anti-American traitor. You know what? I'll let you make an argument for that claim when you stop defending his war crimes in the South Caribbean, when you stop defending his coup in our government in 2020, when you stop defending his 4 constitutional infringements in the last 10 months, when you stop defending his violent rhetoric like calling for the death of his own constituents simply because they're Democrats and therefore his political opponents, which, by the way, on other occasions, he has said that he hates them, and at Charlie Kirk's memorial, at a goddamn memorial, says that he wishes the worst upon them. Okay? I'll let you make that argument once you stop standing in defense of some of the worst and most anti-American policy that we've seen in modern American history, like the Big Beautiful Bill that is reducing the purchasing power of the average American, kicking 10 million low-income Americans off of Medicaid and 3 million low-income Americans off of food stamps. I'll let you make that argument that I'm anti-American when you can tell me that we should hold red lines against sexual predators, perpetuators of sexual violence that don't have any respect for the consent and women of women and girls. Therefore, how could they possibly respect an electorate base of 340 million? You know, I just want to laugh in your face. I do. Rally behind a candidate that wants to defend the Constitution.
Yet or no?
Rally behind a candidate that doesn't call for the termination of the Constitution when they lose an election because they don't care about our civil and electoral processes. Rally behind a candidate that wants to do what is genuinely in the best interest of the working class and recognizes that 16 million American starving children shouldn't die. Remember Donald Trump refused to abide by a court order that forced him to feed 16 million American children, and somehow I'm the
Dude, that was 4 minutes and like
rally,
70
Oh
points.
God, and the thing is that I could give you another 100. I could give you another 100 points. I think
anyone could
that
do
overall,
that. I could do that.
I think that overall my point here is you are in no position to sit here and call me an anti-American traitor, considering the fact that you are defending the most anti-American, tyrannical, wannabe dictator, fascist, serving as the president of this country.
Whenever you're going to allow me to speak, I'd like to speak now. Okay, so here, if we're going to debate, I don't think it's fair to go for a 3 or 4 minute rant and pull out 70 points. Honestly, I can't even argue those points. I don't pretend that I know every political position that Donald Trump does. I already established with you that, look, I'm not one of these ultra magas. I've actually been out of the politics. I explained to you, here's how it works. I don't like bullies. And what you're doing here is, not only are you bullying, you're being one-sided. I don't like this format is what I'm trying to say. This format in our country where we can't debate. Why can't we have a debate? Why can't we take one topic and get through it? We had one topic you went with a lot of rhetoric. Yeah. You told us your opinion. No, I mean, honestly, be fair. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm the
Can
real
we have
bully.
a fair debate?
I'm the real
bully.
bully.
Are you capable of a fair debate?
the plainclothes, masked ICE agents that don't have to identify themselves,
Now
that were
we're
ripping
going.
naked children out of their beds in Chicago, throwing them into the backs of U-Haul vans, then having them represent themselves in court at 3 years old, facing removal from this country as their unaccompanied minors. They're not the bullies. I'm
Well,
the
my
bully
opinion
because
on
I
that.
think
Could I
that it's
just give
wrong
my
for the
opinion?
president to call for the
Look.
termination of the Constitution, such as Donald Trump did do in December of 2022.
Oh man, let's see. There more rhetoric. See, if you're
It's
going
a
to quote
fact.
things, if it was if it was a fact, it would be posted all over the front page news and it would stay forever. It
You
would
want to
never
see
leave.
it? You
But
want to
it's
see it? You want to see the screenshot of his
I can
Truth
tell you
Social
before
post?
we see it. Before we see it, I will tell you how you manipulated it because we'll rewind the tape, and what you said is not what's going to show. So we already did that. We already have gone through that. But
Yeah, read
let's
it out
move
loud.
to let's
No, no, no,
at
no,
least
no,
move to
no, no, no.
one
Read it
debate.
out loud.
Okay, do you know that this country is failing in any way other than Donald Trump ruining it? Do you feel like
Can you read this out loud, please?
So with the revelation of massive and widespread fraud and deception and working closely with big tech companies and DNC Democrat Party, I can't read the side of it. Do you throw the president election results, there you go, of 2020 out and declare the rightful winner, or do you have a new election? A massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for termination of all rules, regulations, and articles. I know you're going to go crazy there. Even those found in the Constitution. Now, what he's saying is, and you'll go crazy. Hear what he said, right? Because we know how this works. But here's the key point. See, put it back up. Hold on. Put it back. There you go. Okay, right there where it says. Now, what he's talking about, a massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules. Pay attention. Regulations and articles, even. Now, here's the big part. Even. Do you see the manipulation? Now, you're a smart guy. And that's why you're making a lot of money by fooling these kids. And we got to stop doing it, man. That I just made my point. What you just said, rewind the tape, kids. What he said was not what was said, period. And I just broke it down. Period. I mean, you can't argue it. You can go off now and you can mute me and you can read off of your book, but you won't be able to argue that. You can laugh. You can pull out all the stops, but you won't get through that one. Put it back up. Break it down for us. No, reverse it. Reverse what I just said. Go ahead. There's your challenge. Reverse it.
Do you want to listen to yourself speak?
Hey, dude, I'll come on here every day and do this to you, bro. Don't ever put me on. You picked the wrong guy. My name is The Truth. Didn't you see? True.
Brother, listen to what you just said.
Here's the big part. No. None of that. See, he will not go into it. Watch, folks. He will not go into that. He will not debate with you.
Dude,
Watch, folks. This is who this guy is. He will not debate.
God.
We have it. We have the evidence. We can break it down right now. He will not put it back up. He will not reverse what I just said. Why?
I'm trying
Because
to reverse.
he can't. Because he fucking can't. He can't do it. He's
God,
not
this guy's
capable.
losing his
He can
shit.
trick a lot of people. He can talk a lot of shit. He's good at that. He'll take your money, but he can't fucking argue the facts.
Oh, dude.
That's one thing he can do. He can read his lines and fucking from the DNC, right? Yeah.
The lines from the DNC.
You got your
Can I ask
reports
you
every
to-
day
can I
to
ask you
hammer
to-
home.
Can I ask you to calm
They're
down?
sitting right in front of you. Look, you're staring at them.
I'm staring at myself.
Beautiful guy too.
Okay, that's weird. Okay. I just want you to hear yourself.
Here's the key point. See, put it back up. Hold on. Put it back. There you go. Okay, right there where it says. Now, what he's talking about, a massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules. Pay attention. Regulations and articles, even. Now, here's the big part. Even. Do you see the manipulation? Now, you're a smart guy. And that's why you're making a lot of money by fooling these kids. And we got to stop doing it, man. I just made my point. What you just said, rewind the tape, kids.
Do you hear how insane you sound?
Rewind the tape. Rewind back to what you said, then fast forward. Actually, play the tape while you put that screen up. Put the screen up. Put the screen up.
Even dude, you were so you really honed in on the word "even" to try to refute what I was saying. What I said is that Donald Trump called for the termination of all the rules, regulations, and
Even
articles
those found in the Constitution.
and then you were like,
So he was staying away.
even the
He was staying
Constitution,
away from
even.
Here, let's debate
He
it.
said
He was
even
trying
the
to stay away from
Constitution. including the Constitution.
Even the articles, even those specific articles in the Constitution, he did not say he wants to change.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and thank my donors real quick. You said kids were sending me money. They sure are. Red, thank you so much for the $5 over on PayPal. You says, guess is a psycho. Also, what headphones do you use? I don't know. I got them from Guitar Center, though. Thank you so much for the $5, Red. Somebody else I'd like to thank here is Kara for the $20 over on PayPal. Who says, keep, quote unquote, fooling this kid, Dean. I'm a 52-year-old associate professor. Kara, thank you for the $20. You were so incredibly kind. Thank Kara for the $20 right now. Say thank you, and I apologize for calling you a kid, Kara. Can you say that to her?
Is that me? Is there talking to me?
Yeah, you called her a kid. You said all these kids giving you money. Oh, Kara's not a kid. She's 52. Apologize.
Oh, she's still a kid.
A 52-year-old associate professor is a child?
Well, some professors, they live in a bubble.
Oh,
So,
God.
yeah,
Yeah, this
I
guy.
think,
This guy. Brittany, thank you so much for the love. I really do appreciate you so very, very much for the $25 over on PayPal. Thank you for the $25, Brittany. Let's get 250 Brittany W's, who says, can't we just all agree that we want what's best for all of us? No, I seemingly Trump supporters can't agree to that. Thank you for the $25, Brittany. Danielle, thank you for the $25 as well on PayPal. Show some love to Danielle in that chat for the $25, who says, I don't know what pisses me off more about this old man, his condescension, his views, or his complete lack of self-control. I'd say all three. Nathan, thank you so much for the $6 over on PayPal. He says, this guest is so obsessed with harmful rhetoric, but won't remotely condemn Donald Trump's truly malicious rhetoric that is destroying academic institutions. Oh, and so much more than that, too. Thank you for the $6, Nathan. Misty,
What are they saying
thank you
about
for the
your
$5
debate?
over on PayPal. He says to own this idiot. Sebastian with the $3. Jacob with the $5. And then Brittany with another $25. Who says, Brittany, here I work in finance and make enough to pay for the service. I don't want to pay taxes to a government that doesn't have people's best interests in their heart. Yeah, dead ass. Thank you for the $25, Brittany. Then Mafuna, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Says, steal my money. Haley, thank you for the $10. Appreciate you for the love. And also, Haley, yes, I do love Flip Turn. I hope that you're still in here to hear that. Alexis, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo. Kara, thank you for the $25 on Venmo, who says, for the mental gymnastics that these people play, keep fighting the good fight and keep being on the right side of history. We'll never switch up, Kara. Thank you for the $25. Then Peter, thank you for the $75. Oh my God, let's get 750 Peter W's, who says the cope and denial by these desperate cult members so that they could avoid admitting how horrible Trump is truly sad and pathetic. Yeah, get owned, little bro. Peter just sat you down. You're the kid now, little bro. Thank you for the $75, Peter. Leah, thank you for the 50 cents. Victor with the $10. And then Tracy, thank you for the $50 on TikTok. Oh my, sorry, on Venmo. Tracy, that is TRACI. Thank you for the $50. Tracy says, keep up the amazing work. Tracy, we'll never stop what we're doing here. I appreciate you for the $50. It is seriously fucking nuts. Then Crystal and Meredith, thank you both for the $5. Shannon, thank you for the $5. And then Amora, thank you so much for the $10. Who says, keep cooking them, Dean. We're never going to stop cooking them, Amora. Jessica, thank you for the $5. Who says, this man-child can't handle the truth and is pathetic. Another Jessica, thank you for the $10. Who says, oh no, Dean, you stole my money. How did you do that? Thank you for being a child. Thank you so much. Sherry, thank you for the $25. Who says, I'm over 50. This guy still has time to learn the truth. Don't change, Dean. You're doing great. Thank you. Oh, thank you for the love, Sherry. And yeah, guess what? This guy's still going to call you a kid. Yeah. Heather, thank you for the $5. Michelle, thank you for the $5. Allison, thank you for the $5. Caitlin, thank you for the $5. Katie, thank you for the $5.
You're all
Catherine,
suckers.
thank you for the $10. Who says 28 plus women have accused Donald Trump, believe women. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Birds of a feather fly together. Look at his friends like Epstein. Absolutely, Catherine. Hannah, thank you for the $10. Who says just because you're a sweetie. I don't know if I'm being too sweet to this guy, but I think he deserves it. And then Maze, thank you for the $75 over on Venmo. Who says please read your TikTok DMs. Maze, I got you. You know it. Thank you for the $75. It is seriously fucking ridiculous. Let's get 750 Maze W's. Then Caleb, thank you for the $5 for Harry. Amy with the $5 saying proud member of the Dean cult. Sarah with the $10 who says, oops, I'm dumb. We love to show support. Stephanie, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal, who says these guests are really convinced of their smarts, aren't they? Yeah, he thinks that he's the smartest man alive. Shit. Madeline, thank you for the $10 who says we had a hat day today at my school and a group of boys wore We Love Trump hats. Yeah, laughed at them in their faces. Kayla, thank you for the $5 who says him saying quote unquote you could see the manipulation while he reads your exact claim took me out. Yeah, he's fucking yeah, that took me out too. Thank you guys so much for all the love. I do genuinely appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for the love. Then Michelle, thank you for the $2 over on Venmo. Over on YouTube Super Chat.
Wow, guys.
Rodney, thank you for the $10 who says as a 67-year-old, this caller needs to go back to school and learn. He's delusional. Hey, are you going to call a 67-year-old a kid?
Ouch. Anyways, wow, that was a big list. Good job, man.
Dwayne,
Hey,
thank you
I
for the
wanna
$10.
take
He
back-
says, "Let a lawyer me help you debate MAGAs." Honestly, I just
put
feel
her
like
on.
I just feel like you'd be too
You
much.
need some help.
They'd cook you. I need help doing what?
You need some help on you. I would
Leslie,
say
thank
throw
you for the
her on because you
$10.
lost that. You lost that debate, man.
Yeah, what debate? Did I
So
lose?
far, you're 0 for 2, but
Oh.
we're ready to go back. Round 3.
Brother, remember earlier when you literally gave me an explicit verbal concession? What the fuck do you mean 0 for 2? Earlier you literally said, Dean, you won that debate.
No, that was for your
Rocks
personal.
for
just to
fucking
get you-
brains.
That was just to get you past that one. I lied. I lied.
No,
I admit I lied.
no, you got
I was
cooked.
desperate to just.
You
I
got
couldn't- I
cornered. You
couldn't
got
hear-
boxed.
Dude, I just cornered you, bro. And
Cornered me on what?
Dude, you what you said. If we rewind what you said, it didn't match up to what was said by
How
Trump,
so?
and I broke it down.
No, you
Because
didn't break it down. You just
said-
kept on reading it. You were like,
You
even,
said that he
even,
wanted
even.
to destroy the Constitution. You
Yeah,
said that
he
he wanted to
he
get
said-
rid
he
of
said
the
that he wanted to
Constitution.
terminate all the rules,
And
regulations,
so you
and articles,
pulled-
including those found in the Constitution.
He was talking specifically about the election problems, and he said even those election problems that are in the Constitution. He did not say he wants to get rid of the Constitution. See, that's the manipulation. That was my point. My point is to manipulate.
So I think that your point proves my point. Can we agree
No,
here?
I mean, you got to stay. You do a bad job
we
as
agree?
rhetoric.
Can we
No
agree
one
here?
takes you seriously.
Can we
No one
agree
takes
here?
you seriously.
Can we agree here that in this sense, the word even is being used synonymously to the word including?
Well, that's your interpretation, which is in what's called inverted. That's called inverted interpretation.
Brother.
It's also known as TDS.
Yeah, the only person who has Trump derangement syndrome here is you, because you're willing to continue to
You're
support him as
completely
president even after
inverted.
he's
Your
boasted about-
logic, your logic disappears.
You know what? You know what? It's
but
actually,
you're decent.
Can I be?
You're
can
good
I, can I
at.
be
You know what
honest?
you're good at? Collecting $75 from suckers. So I don't want to call them kids anymore.
Wow.
They're now suckers.
Wow, the people
because
that
I
donate
didn't
to
know
me
they
are
were doing
suckers.
$75. I would almost want to get proof of that. That's happening. It's almost unbelievable that anyone would actually pay $75. It is hard to believe.
Oh,
I'll be honest with you.
specific. Hey guys, just I'll put it out there. If you do want to support me, you can find the Venmo and the PayPal and the link tree in the bio. It's on the top of the screen too. It's also in that pin message over on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for all the love today.
Max
Now-
grifting.
Grifting. I'm grifting now.
Well, of
so,
course.
So the people that are donating
For
to me
money.
are suckers, especially when they specifically donate more than $75. And then I'm also a
It's all
grifter.
about money. Anyway, back to the debate. Do you want to go to the
Ellen,
next
thank you for the $10 on PayPal. Who says 51-year-old grandma here, but yeah, just a kid.
You
Briella,
got me
thank you
for
for the
10 more
$10.
minutes.
Leah, thank you for the $3. Steven with a $10 saying thank you for being a voice. Lindsay with a $10 saying I'd rather have a sucker than a MAGA. Wow, guys, thank you so much for all the love. I genuinely appreciate it so much. Sebastian, thank you for the 67 cents over on PayPal saying stop grifting me. Kaylee with the $10 for the grift. Thank you so much for the love, Kaylee. Let's fucking go, dude. Oh my God, Amber and Shannon. Oh, Amber, thank you for the $200 on Venmo. And Shannon, thank you for the $200 on PayPal.
Why aren't people playing this on?
Oh my fucking
this
shit!
should be a fucking post.
Sam,
Look
oh
at
my
this guy,
god!
too.
Amber with the $200 says for having to deal with this shithead, and Shannon with the $200 says from a sucker, keep up the fight.
Oh,
It's
dude.
Sarah
Oh, you
with
gotta
the
invite me on more.
Sarah
You
with
gotta
the
get me
oh
on
my
more.
god! Sarah said $100 over on Venmo. Sarah with
Dude, you gotta put me
$100
on
says
more
25. Oh my god, says 25 at a blue collar worker. I must be a sucker. You were such a fucking sucker, Sarah. Hannah, thank you for the $10. She says that's a higher ed worker. Educate these idiots. Another Hannah with a $20 who says from a sucker who enjoys your intelligent debates, keep cooking this guy. Thank you so much. Lindsay with a $20 who says hello 49-year-old kid sucker here. Totally duped by you. No brain of my own. I have a PhD in forensic biology. Am a college professor, but total sucker.
Dude, the DNC
Dude,
is sending him these things. These are indications. by the way.
Why do you think that this is from the DNC? These are from
I mean,
individual donors.
that's just a wild guess. I think the DNC is sending you notes right now, but that's okay. Anyways,
no.
but
Wait,
hey,
these
look,
are
if you wanna
individual
debate me,
PayPals and Venmos.
I
Vanessa,
don't mind
I'm not done
retiring
yet.
like Michael
I'm not done
Jordan
yet.
right now.
Well, I'm not done yet. Vanessa, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much for the love and shout out to your mother, Vanessa. Anna, thank you for the $10. She says, even my geckos are smarter than him. Melissa with the $20. She says, not a kid here, not a sucker. Just willing to donate to you every day to permanently never talk to the sad grandpa ever again. Valerie, thank you so much for the $10 as well. Thank you so much. But seriously, fucking Shannon, you are nuts. Thank you for the $200. Sarah with the $100 and Amber with the $200. Like, you guys are seriously so fucking kind.
Oh, stop.
So do you think that Sarah, Amber, and Shannon, like, they're all just like DNC suckers?
I don't know. Let's not even debate that. Let's get back to a real debate.
You-
What's
you-
the next
you-
one?
You shut up real fucking quick. You shut up real fucking quick.
I'm excited about the
They
next
humbled
debate.
you. They humbled your ass. They humbled
All right,
your
I got
bitch ass.
10 minutes for this debate. Could we plug it in? Let's do it.
Yeah,
What's- you
just
pick
get
the
humbled,
topic.
kid. Get
I'll even
humbled.
let you pick the topic, but it's got to be a big one. It can't be some stupid little rabbit hole. Make it a big topic. It could be, I'm going to give you 3 options. 1, okay, the border. 2, the killing the boats situation. And 3, Russia. You pick.
Can I introduce a 4th?
Go ahead.
So you just go like nuts, like when I present you with Donald Trump saying something crazy, and you lose your mind trying to justify it.
No, I broke it down.
Here's
Go ahead.
a 4th topic. Donald Trump admitted to sexually exploiting women.
Did he?
Yeah.
Show me the tape.
This one.
Some of these foreign girls, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now, tell
Well,
me
I'll
what
tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show,
Yes.
and everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else, and no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that.
So before you even respond, what Donald Trump said is that he will.
Oh shit! Hold on! No! Don't say it now. Just now, rewind what you said, and now pick the comment that you can pin down what you said and what he just said. And this will be my 3rd win because you just changed what he said. You gave it your own inverted opinion on it, or perverted opinion, whatever you want to call it. And it didn't match to what you said it was. It didn't come out the way the tape read. And that's the key. That's like the key.
This will be really easy
it's
for
like,
me. Are you ready?
Go ahead. Yep.
Can we agree that the definition of sexual exploitation would include somebody abusing their position of power over the position of vulnerability of somebody else to further unconsensual sexual conduct?
Can we agree that Howard Stern is built on that predicate?
What?
Can we agree that Howard Stern's show is built on that type of behavior?
I'm confused and
this is the problem. Hold on, this is the problem because you're young. Because you're young. Let me explain. Let me explain. Hold on, because we got to learn something. Howard Stern.
So if you're saying that the point of the Howard Stern show is to expose predators, and therefore anybody who goes on to the show and says they're a predator is not a predator, then you're saying every single man that Gideon or Chris Hansen ever sat down with is not truly P3DO, because Chris Hansen and Gideon shows are built around exposing them. And by the way, I did ask you a question, if we could agree on what the definition of sexual exploitation would be. You never answered it. Instead, you pivoted. But I'll just clarify. Yes, the definition of sexual exploitation does include somebody abusing their position of power over the position of vulnerability of somebody else in the furtherance of unconsensual sexual conduct. And yes, that is exactly what Donald Trump admitted to in that clip. He said that because he's the owner of the pageant, that's his position of power, he'd abuse that position of power to allow himself to barge backstage into the private women's only dressing rooms where there are no men around, so then he could look at the women inside of that space that had no clothes on, therefore they're naked, thereby putting them in a position of vulnerability. And of course, him looking at their naked bodies would be unconsensual sexual conduct. So no.
But bro, you don't know who Howard Stern is. Hold on. Howard Stern, okay, this is what this show is all about. You're not familiar with the show. The whole show was disgusting, okay? So he was coming in, it was an entertainment show. You have to admit that, you know that part. So you have to understand, the entire show was built on that type of behavior, right? Yeah. So all he did was he showed a dirty side of him. Let's be honest. I mean, I don't know what your sexual preference is, but us straight men, we like gorgeous women. And it was a joke. It was a half a joke, and there might be truth to it. Is he a perfect angel? No. Is he a disgusting animal? No. I think that's what we can gather from your point.
Okay. So
Go ahead.
does sexually exploiting women and girls make you a disgusting animal?
Well, I think sexually exploiting, that would be like, allowing, let's say a trans person that's really not trans, they're just a sick person to go in the girls' restroom or changing room. I think that is more of an exploitation.
Wow.
Don't you agree?
So it's sexual exploitation when a trans woman uses the bathroom, but it's not sexual exploitation when a cis man unconsensually barges into a woman's changing room to look at the naked bodies of the people in there.
Well, if I could respond, did he barge in there or was he authorized? I think that was what he was making the point. He was actually authorized. It was kind of like.
But who was he authorized by?
Well, I don't know how the rules. Maybe he wrote the rules. Maybe he wrote the rules.
He said it in the clip. If you listen to the clip, you know the answer to this question. Who is he authorized by?
Go ahead.
Himself.
Okay.
Now, who holds and bears the consent over the bodies of the women and girls inside of that space? Him or them?
Well, again, I mean, can I defend it like
it's just
wholeheartedly?
definitionally
It's something that I would
sexual
do.
exploitation.
But I mean,
it's by definition sexual exploitation because he's abusing his position of power to allow himself to barge in there, then abusing their position of vulnerability to unconsensually look at them while they're naked. By definition, it is sexual.
They are
exploitation.
consensually. Hold on, they concede to the program, right? It's what he wrote. They signed off on it. They're there. They don't have to be there. No one's forcing them to be there.
Okay, so when you sign off to like a program, like a beauty pageant or like a TV show or a film or a documentary, so on and so forth, you are giving consent, right, to that program to like film you when you go on stage to be judged by the judges, or like when I filmed out a documentary last year, I gave my consent to pop in front of a camera and speak into it to give my thoughts. But that doesn't, in virtue of that fact, give the business owner consent and willingness over your body when entering into private spaces like changing rooms or restrooms. So if there's like a business owned by a male with female employees, the male business owner can't just follow the women into the restroom.
No, I see your point. No, we don't have to debate.
And they didn't have to be there. And ultimately, by the way, this also happened to teens, minors. Minors can't consent, point blank, period.
Well, you're going off into minors, but that wasn't the case here. But here, we are also talking 20-something years ago. Things have changed. That's what you're not factoring in.
Okay.
And
so
obviously, hold on. And on its face, on its face. Hold on, one last thing. On its face, it was acceptable then to where it didn't get brought up till 20 years later.
Yeah,
Let's make that point.
So here's the thing. If it was acceptable then they wouldn't have been in a private women's only space with no men around.
No, it happened and it was acceptable and they got through it.
If it was acceptable then, they wouldn't have been in a private women's only space with no men around. And by the way, the consent of a woman or girl matters just as much today as it did 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, or 100 years ago. And I think that you are a disgusting pig for suggesting otherwise. You are a truly disgusting pig for telling us that it was indeed acceptable and permissible for Donald Trump, a 65-year-old man, to exploit the naked bodies of children. You, sir, are a goddamn red flag. Do you even hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? Do you even truly know what you're defending?
I said that it's acceptable.
Listen,
it was acceptable to everybody.
Please, just correct yourself. Correct yourself. Can we correct yourself?
I don't need to correct myself.
So you truly do believe that it was acceptable for 60-year-old men to take advantage of little girls?
No, that's not what happened there. We had
four teens testify that in 1997, what Donald Trump described in that clip is exactly what he did to them.
Right. And when it was acceptable then in public form, it happened.
You're defending that it was acceptable for old men to perv on children?
I'm saying that it was acceptable. It was acceptable in the sense of no one.
Oh my God.
No, it was not to me. It was never acceptable to me. It was acceptable to the culture back then, where it's not today. And why? Because it's a bullet. It's to go after Trump. And is it acceptable? I think it's cool? No.
You think the only reason why society deems P3ophilia unacceptable is to attack Trump?
If what?
The only reason why you think society thinks pedophilia is bad is to go after Trump. Is that your argument?
No, I don't.
Because that's
I
what
don't
you just
think
said.
this was.
You just said it was acceptable then.
These were
and the
children.
only
Hold on.
reason
These were
why
children in the
it's not
changing room. Is that?
acceptable.
Did I miss something? Hold on. Pedophilia. Are we talking about children?
Don't make sure not to say that word. Flags on TikTok.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, this happened. This
the
happened.
P word.
This happened to minors.
This
It did.
happened to children.
Yes.
So he went in that. So that he went into the children's.
They did this at Miss Teen
Locker
USA
rooms.
and Miss USA. Yeah.
Okay, but he was talking about Miss USA, not Teen USA. Is that
So
correct?
in this clip, he was talking about all the pageants broadly.
Okay, let's play the clip again. I want to hear him broadly say, because you just pinned yourself to a fact.
Yeah.
He's got to pin himself broadly. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just talk about what he did at the pageants. It's broad.
So you have done
No,
that. Now
that's-
tell
Well,
me
I'll
what-
tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else.
You got
And
to
you know,
reverse.
no
You
men
got
are
to find out what
anywhere.
we said before this.
And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. You know, I'm inspecting. I want to make
Which
sure that
pageant?
everything is
Doctor,
good.
you're there.
Which pageant?
Is everyone
Exactly. Which pageant? All pageants. Broad.
No, he wasn't talking about all pageants. He said pageant. He said singular.
The reason
pageant.
why we know that he did this at all pageants is not only because in this clip he was speaking vaguely, but also because we've had like women come forward from Miss USA, most particularly.
I'm gonna need more. If you're gonna go into the
Miss Arizona from 2001, and then we've had 4 victims that were underage competed at Miss Teen USA in 1997, including women now by the name of Mariah Belgado, who said that this happened to her, giving cooperating victim testimony to the admission of guilt by the perpetuator of the sexual violence. And by the way, if your current argument is now to deny the testimony of the 4 underage victims that this happened to in 1997, you sound insane because their victim testimony not only corroborates one another, but aligns with what Donald Trump admitted to. But just
I would
second part-
never have a conversation. We're only going off your proof. I can only go off your proof. That's what we're doing. So
Yeah,
we're not going into
proof
hearsay.
The
You're
proof is that
hearsay.
he admitted to it, and then the victims corroborated it.
So far, you're 0 for 3 in proof. Just so you know,
I'm so sorry.
you have not.
I don't
you
think
have
that
not
there.
provided
I
the proof.
legitimately don't think that there could be a higher standard of evidence. I don't think. I
well,
don't think that there could be.
You
more
just have to
evidence.
rewind the tape. Just
listen,
rewind what you said.
I don't think that there literally could be more evidence for Trump doing this. He said he did it, and the victim said he did it. That's more reliable than anything else. Honestly, I even think that that is more reliable than a video of him doing it, because the video could be AI, right? Right? Like
You
if
don't have to mute
if
me.
a video of that was produced today, it could be AI, right? But
You don't
because
have to mute me. I can
he
listen to you
directly
speak.
admitted to it in 2005, and then that was corroborated by verified victim testimony. I literally think that that is more evidence that Trump did it compared to if there were to be a video that came out today.
We're only talking about the evidence that you're bringing up today. You're producing.
There couldn't be stronger evidence. There literally couldn't.
We looked at your evidence. It did not match what you said. That's it.
Tell
That's my
me,
argument.
what more evidence could I have for my claim? I don't think I could have more.
Your claims are too high, bro. That's your problem.
It's not
You
too
know,
high. I claim that this was sexual exploitation. The definition.
Yeah,
of
you went
sexual-
into the P word.
Listen,
okay.
listen,
You went into the
definition-
Constitution
once
being
again,
burned.
Once again,
Hold on,
I'll
hold on.
re-explain. I'll re-explain why what he did to them is sexual exploitation. It's because sexual exploitation includes the abuse of one's position of power over the position of vulnerability of one else in the furtherance of unconsensual sexual conduct. I've already explained this 5 times. I'll explain it for a 6th. He abused his position of power as the owner of the beauty pageant, barging backstage, looking at their naked bodies. Okay? Right? And there's
Barging?
also the abuse
Barging.
of
You said
their
that 3
position of
times.
vulnerability, feeling vulnerable enough to take their clothes off in what was supposed to be a private woman's space. to
I've
then
recommended-
unconsensually look at them while they're naked, which is unconsensual sexual conduct. It's not a word game here. I'm not like twisting reality. I'm just simply listening to what Trump
You're
admitted to
amplifying it.
and then amplifying what he admitted to with the corroborated victim testimony of 4 teens in 1997, multiple adults at Miss USA as well.
And this is where you fail.
I don't think that there. One last thing I have to say here is I don't think that there literally could be more evidence for this. If a video were to come out today, you could say, well, it could be AI, right? Which of course I dispute because that's stupid. But you can't even question Donald Trump's admittance of guilt here. You can't question the fact that the victim testimony corroborates his admittance of guilt. There's no other evidence that could prove it further. And I could actually prove that claim too by just asking you, well, what kind of evidence would you need to further prove it? You won't be able to come up with any level of evidence that would surmount him admitting to it than his admission of guilt being corroborated by the victims.
Well, first you have to agree that every piece of evidence holds weight, and that weight is always determined by the contents. So your contents, okay, is, I'm not going to say it's weak. You could have used it better. I think you go too hard with it.
Tell me
And
where I
there's a
went
better
wrong.
way to do it. I think you would have a better chance arguing it if you didn't go so fucking crazy.
Specifically,
And
tell
make
me
it
where I
so-
went wrong.
Well, yours said the P word, and I don't think that that's what he was talking about. We go back from the last
P
thing we
word?
were talking about. Yeah, the P that I can't
Oh.
say on the
Yeah,
word.
label sexual
You
violence.
you
directed
went
towards
into
minors,
there.
right?
You went, but hold on. You didn't need to. You didn't need to. You
but
want to
that-
hold
but
on.
that-
Hold on.
but-
They make a
come
point.
on.
Listen now.
Come
hold
on.
on.
That is
you
what
made
we
a
label.
good point.
When
I'm giving you a win here, but then you fucked it up. Okay. All you had to say is this is not becoming of a man, of a good man. Okay. So there's no argument there. To go into the P argument and to now vilify him, so that's where you lose credibility. And so you do that, and there's no fairness, and we can't find any common ground.
okay,
That's the problem.
why is it not fair to label people the P word if they exploit kids?
Well, I'm trying to explain it to you, man. You're trying to convict someone. It's like saying this. Someone stabbed someone, but you're trying to convict them of a murder. Okay? So that's the difference. That's the best analogy I can give
If
you.
Donald Trump randomly stabbed somebody on Fifth Avenue and they died, and then Donald Trump said, I stabbed this person for no reason, then watched them die, that'd be murder, right?
Okay, what's your point?
That your analogy proves my point. Because if somebody were to exploit a kid and Mr. Trump said, yeah, I did this.
Do you ever agree
that'd
with
be-
the opposing side? Did you see how I agreed with you and said something? I said, well, I agree with you on this. Do you ever do that
But
at
see,
all?
the thing is that there's no other side to this argument because it's clear as day. Can we agree? Let's just try to keep it simple. Don't muddy the waters. At the minimum, can we agree that Donald Trump sexually exploited whomever the beauty pageant contestants were that he did this to?
Did he, exploit is a strong, powerful word, but if you want to say at the very minimum, yeah, I'd say he did exploit them in a very, man, at the weakness of a man's, power or whatever you want to call it. But I don't think that it was anything.
What do
Here's
you-
my,
what do you-
I
what
try
do
to
you-
make the, hold on.
what do you
I'm trying to
mean
make
by
this
that?
point, and I made it, and everyone will agree because
What do
they're
you-
older than me.
What do you mean by
Things
that?
have changed. Culture,
Wait,
you are in another culture.
what do
This
you-
was more
what-
acceptable
What do you
back
mean by
then.
that? What do you mean by
Whereas
that?
now it's not.
So
What I mean by is I
listen,
don't think it's becoming. Me personally, whether it was 40 years ago.
all I hear you saying is that, Dean, I guess when you put it that way, when we listen to that clip, when we define the phrase sexual exploitation, he did sexually exploit whoever he did that to. But it was just at a low moment, a weakness in a man's power. And honestly, it was really acceptable back then. All that I hear you doing is just screaming very loudly and very clearly that it's okay to permit sexual violence.
Well, there you go.
I
You're
just hear you
demonizing me.
screaming
You're demonizing me.
very
and you-
loudly and very clearly that it is okay, right, to downplay the horror that sexual violence is. That it's okay to try to find any way to make Trump not a bad guy. See, when you use this phrase, like he did it because he was experiencing a weak moment, what you're implying is that he didn't do it because he's a predator. When you say things like it was acceptable in the society back then, what you're implying is that Trump's not to blame, society was to blame. And
No, I
and
said
all
that
of
he
this-
takes. No, I
and all
said
of
that I
this-
agree
And
with.
all of this goes to show. And all of this goes to show that you do not care about holding the perpetuators of sexual violence accountable. Because if we agreed that all perpetuators of sexual violence should be held accountable, that all perpetuators of sexual violence should be blamed, then you wouldn't be trying to take that blame away from them and placing it on society at large.
If you go this, but this is the standard, we'd all be locked up. Come on, we've never done anything inappropriate. I heard some about you doing some inappropriate. Isn't there some shit online about you doing something inappropriate? I forgot what it was. Something about some girl or something. I don't really know.
You keep on calling
But
me
no, I mean,
Harry.
I don't even know that.
One
That's
moment.
a rumor. I don't
One
know.
moment.
I don't know.
You
But
keep on calling me Harry, okay?
sorry, Dean. Dean.
See,
Sorry,
the thing
Dean,
is
my bad.
that's true about Harry. That's not true about Dean.
Oh, okay. That was
You-
someone else.
You're just getting
Okay.
me and Harry confused.
My bad. I make mistakes.
Okay.
I admit when I make
And
mistakes.
by the
too.
way, you just self-reported. If the you just said, if we should hold the perpetuators of sexual violence accountable, then all men would be locked up. Fucking found one.
There you go. You just rephrased exactly what I said. You do it to
found
everybody.
one. Fucking found one.
Go rewind what I said. That's not what I said, dude. You always do ad lib. You're great at ad lib, though. I will tell you that. You must have played a lot of that when you were younger. Ad lib.
You just self-reported.
I don't really know.
You keep on calling.
But
me
no,
Harry.
I mean, I don't even know that.
One
That's
moment.
a rumor. I don't know. I don't know.
You
But
keep on calling.
if you go this, but this is the standard, we'd all be locked up. Come on, we've never done anything inappropriate. I heard some about you doing some inappropriate.
Yeah, there you go. You said, and I quote, if this is the standard, then we would all be locked up in response to me saying,
Yeah,
that we
because
should
this is like the
hold
worst
the
thing.
perpetuators of sexual violence accountable.
Dude, let's get a hold of it. Hold on. You're saying it's at the top of violations. That's the way you're explaining it. And if that's the top of violations, then shit with the shit that I've done is horrible then too.
What have you
know,
done?
It's kind of like I would never do
What
what he
have you
did,
done?
but I've never been in that power,
What it,
in that position. And also that was another
are you
area-
saying that if you were in a position of power that you'd exploit women and girls? That you'd like
No, I
perv on
didn't.
kids? That you'd grape women?
Why don't you stop muting me and saying horrible stuff?
Like, dude, like, what are you saying? Like,
Don't be so cowardly.
Oh,
bro.
like,
Hit the
oh, if
mute
I was in a
button.
position
How
of
many
power,
times have
I
you
might.
muted me,
Well,
Dean?
I maybe I would
How many
genocide
times have
12
you
million
muted me
Jewish
today,
individuals.
Dean? How many times?
Yeah, you don't care about consent, so why should I care about your consent? Your consent against me muting you. You don't care about individuals' like rights. It's very clear. You think that maybe Trump should be permissed the unconsensual viewership of the naked bodies of women and girls. So why should I care about your right to speak? Like, come on. Oh my God, I don't know what to say in response to this. Honestly, at this point, man, I'm just thinking I kind of want to remove you from the live stream. Like, I think that this is, I think that this is sick shit, dude. Like, I say this every single day.
Okay, later,
this is,
dude. Nice
this is,
one,
this
bro.
is
You
becoming a daily conversation on this live stream. That daily conversation being is that it is wrong for men to take advantage of. Just listen to me.
All you do is you mute.
God, yeah, because I want to speak and you can't stop interrupting. Just let me talk.
All you
dude.
did is
If you let me talk, I will stop muting you. Just listen. I'm getting sick and tired of repeating that it's wrong for men to take advantage of women. Why is it a debate? Why? Why is it a debate? Why are we debating if it was wrong for Donald Trump to unconsensually look at the bodies of women and girls while they were naked?
Did I say it wasn't wrong, or did I mention that we're going too hard with it? That was my point. But you can't deal in reality. It's so extreme.
Is it too hard to say that was sexual exploitation?
It's a very extreme term.
I just want a yes or no.
You lost the argument.
I just want a yes or no.
You keep trying to argue it.
I want a yes or no. I want a yes or no. If I'm losing, then why won't you answer the question? Is it too extreme to say that is sexual exploitation?
I already said what I had to say about it.
Is it a yes or is it a no?
Me 4,000 times. You keep muting me, and I haven't been able to explain myself.
Is it a yes or no?
You keep muting.
Is it a yes or no?
I could pin you down with so many questions, but that's not the way you debate. The way you debate is I have my side, and you have your side, and then we move on to the next thing. But we've only done 3. You're 0 for 3, and now you're trying to pound it out of me.
Is it too extreme to say that is sexual exploitation?
Yeah, it's too extreme to say that it's sexual exploitation. It's not becoming of a decent man.
Define sexual
it's
exploitation.
It's not becoming of a decent man.
Define sexual exploitation.
Like I said, that would be something like, a fake trans person going into the girls' bathroom, right?
That's an example. I want a definition.
That's exploitation.
That's an example. I want a definition.
There's many examples.
But the thing is that I don't want an example. I want a definition.
There's extreme examples. Like,
I don't want an example. I want a definition.
Exploitation. I mean, you have to look
sexual
it up.
exploitation.
I'm not a dictionary.
Okay.
I'm not a dictionary.
Listen, I literally got the definition that I gave you by looking it up. Okay? When I looked up the definition of sexual exploitation, okay, generally, all right, that included somebody abusing their position of power over the position of vulnerability of somebody else to further unconsensual sexual conduct.
Well, you treat it like I try to make an example to help you with some logic. Now you're treating it like a murder charge. So if someone gets killed, that is. Hold on. Let me give you another example. Hold on. Let me speak. You spoke.
See, yeah. The thing is, you're just not going to.
Let's be logical. One point. You'll understand what I'm talking about. If someone kills someone, there is no levels. See, you're treating it like a murder. See, like that's why I try to make a difference. Now, if you stab someone, you can stab them 10 times. You can stab them 15 times. That's the amount, and that's how our courts actually grade things. Just like anything else, you would see the level of ferocity, the level of lack of empathy, things like that, right? So everything other than something as total as murder is up for debate. So for you to be you're a totalitarian, right? With everything that Trump does, but everything is flexible. You're super liberal with everything else. It's amazing. But I know you want to kick me off.
No, I don't want to move on yet. I'm not done. The reason why
I would rather debate topics, real topics.
The reason why I say that it is not extreme to define what Donald Trump did as sexual exploitation is because a reasonable definition of sexual exploitation would include what he did. And that's the argument that you can't directly respond to. And I'll demonstrate that to everybody watching. Directly respond to the following question. Does the definition of sexual exploitation include somebody abusing their position of power over the position of vulnerability of somebody else to further unconsensual sexual conduct? Yes or no? This guy will not give a direct answer.
I will give you a direct answer, and you'll have to not mute me to let me finish the answer. I will give you your yes. Now, I get to say something else. You don't get to cut me off. Yes, and I'll give you another example of what you're trying to do here. If I jaywalk, am I a criminal? If I jaywalk, is that to mean I'm the worst criminal on the planet? Because that's what you're doing here. Now, I know that that's not the greatest analogy, but it is it's more reasonable to think of it that way than to say, my opinion is it. You know, you're God in that way. You're not God. You're not even a judge. You're not even an attorney. And, you know, although you may be a decent one if you ever chose to, because you do pound out the same stuff and you like to corner. You do that. You're a great manipulator and you're great at cornering. So I'll give you props. You're decent. But you'll never beat me in a debate. Not one. Not one single one. Ever.
Okay. So the argument now is that, yes, what Donald Trump did was sexual exploitation, but barely.
I'm going to say, because that's fair. That's a fair question. I'm going to give it, I mean, we're talking at the max, like where they got, you know, pimps chaining their prostitutes to the fucking iron or something. That would be real shit right there. But I would give it about a 4. Because it's not like looking at a young girl in her dress on accident, right? It's above that. So if we're being honest with it,
I'm just done. I'm just done with that guy. Hey, Santana. How you doing?
Better than you, I guess, at the moment. Like, it seems like, some motherfuckers just love ice skating uphill.
Yeah. I've really built a level of patience and tenacity. Do you know what the definition of tenacity is? I want to make sure that I'm using that word right.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. You're resilient when it comes to these conversations.
And a level of like mental tenacity and resilience when faced with people like that. It is it's tough, man.
Yeah.
It is very mentally like draining to try to convince somebody that sexual exploitation is bad. You know, you don't usually have to do that. You don't usually have to convince somebody that it's really bad for a 60-year-old to look at the naked body of a kid. That's That's not the norm. That's not the typical. And what I'm scared of is that every day it becomes more of that norm. Every day it becomes more of that typical. And when we first started having these dialogues about that clip a couple months ago, yeah, God, every time I'd have a guest like him up, God, I'd lose my shit. I'd lose my mind, man. Which is a very reasonable reaction. But anymore, it's just, God, just drains on the back burner.
You can't become numb to it, and then even more so, like the guy that you were talking to, he's a ultra crepidarian. You know what that is?
I don't.
Okay, so he's someone who thinks that he's the smartest person in the room. He confidently speaks on topics that he doesn't know about, and he believes that he's right, even though he has no premise as far as his actual line of logic. So he's an ultra crepidarian. He's just the worst.